Hello student, welcome back to our MSc First Physics semester 2nd course, that is Atoms and Molecules, and our subject code is a PSCT 122 and this is our 16th lecture. And in our previous lecture we have covered the FTR spectroscopy basic principle and the introductory part of the FTR spectroscopy. That means we have started the FTR spectroscopy and we have discussed about the introductory part of the FTR spectroscopy and basic working principle of the FTR spectroscopy. So all those things we have discussed in our previous lecture, and also we have discussed about the mathematical expression for the Fourier transform or the Fourier transform pair. Now in this lecture we have to discuss the Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, but in that there is a instrumentation of FTR spectrometers. That means for the FTR there is a spectrometer and it consists of different parts and which gives us a FTR spectra. But how we get that FTR spectra, all those things we will discuss in this lecture. So let's start. Instrumentation of the FTR spectrometer. Three basic components of FTR systems are radiation source, second one is the interferometer, and third one is the detector. That means the FTR spectrometer has three different parts, and these are the three main parts. First one is the radiation source, that is a IR radiation source. Second one is the interferometer. Interferometer actually acts as a monochromator and it gives the interferogram. And second one, last one is the third one is the detector. That means detector is used to detect the sample signals and analyze that sample signals and give us a variable or desirable signal so that we get the spectra. So first we will discuss about the radiation source. That means we will discuss one by one, but first is the radiation source. There are different types of radiation sources such as incandescent lamp. Second one is the globar source. Next one is the nurse glower, and last one is the high pressure mercury arc. These all are the four radiation sources which emits the IR radiation, and generally the nurse glower and the globar sources are used for the or which acts as a radiation source for the IR radiation. So these all are the different radiation sources which we have been used in the Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy. Now the next second part one is the Michelson interferometer, which is the main part of the FTR spectroscopy, that is a Michelson interferometer. The heart of the FTR is a Michelson interferometer. The monochromator is replaced by an interferometer which divides the radiant beam, then recombines them in order to produce the repetitive interference signals measured as a function of optical path differences. As the name implies, interferometer produces interference signals which contains the IR spectral information generated after passing through the sample. That means the main element of the FTR spectroscopy is nothing but the Michelson interferometer, and it produces the interference signals. That is the name indicate that is the interferometer which produces the repetitive interference signals, and it consists of the again different parts such as two mirrors and one beam splitter. Beam splitter divides the given radiation beam into the two parts, and after that there is a recombine process, and after recombination we get the repetitive interference signals, and these signals measured as a function of optical path difference. That means there is a path difference between the two beams, and after that we get some particular interference signals, and this interference signal contains the information about our given sample when we pass through it. So in this way the Michelson interferometer works. It consists of three active components. First one is a moving mirror, second one is a fixed mirror, and third one is a beam splitter. That is, these are the three main parts of the Michelson interferometer. That means there are two mirrors and one beam splitter which divides the beam. So we will discuss about the part of the interferometer one by one. That is, first we have to discuss about the mirror, and after that we will discuss about the beam splitter. So first is the mirror, but there are again two types of the mirror, that is a moving mirror and fixed mirror, but the construction of these two mirror is the same. Mirrors in an FTIR are generally made up of metal. That means the construction material used for the construction material used for the mirrors is nothing but the metal. The mirrors are polished on the front surface and may be gold coated to improve the corrosion resistance. That means this metal or these mirrors are polished on the front surface, so that we get the proper reflection, and the material used for the polishing purpose, which is the generally gold, because the gold is a corrosion free, or very less corrosion occurs in a gold. Commercial FTIRs use a variety of flat and curved mirrors to move light within a spectrometer to focus the source onto the beam splitter and focus light from the sample onto the detector. That means the mirrors are used at a different position in order to focus the beam on a particular device or system. So in FTIR spectroscopy, variety of flat mirrors and curved mirror is also used, but these mirrors are used to focus the source onto the beam splitter. That means the radiation emitted from the source, that means the radiation beam which is focused onto the beam splitter, and this is done with the help of these mirrors. And after that again this light is focused onto the focus light from the sample onto the detector. That means the light emitted from the sample is again focused onto the detector, and is also done with the help of these mirrors. So the mirror play very important role in a FTIR spectrometer. The two mirrors are perpendicular to each other. That means the position of the two mirror, that is a fixed mirror and moving mirror, they are perpendicular to each other in a FTIR spectrometer. The beam splitter is a semi-reflecting device, can be constructed of a material such as silicon or germanium deposited in a thin film coating onto an IR transparent substance. That means beam splitter actually it is a semi-reflecting device. That means it partially reflect the beam and partially transmit the beam. So it is hence it is called as a beam splitter. That means it divides the beam into the two parts, that is a reflected beam and transmitted beam, and which is constructed with the help of that is the silicon or germanium. These all are the semiconductor materials, and this silicon or germanium is deposited with the help of thin film techniques and the coating onto the IR transparent substance. That means the substrate is used for this thin film synthesis is nothing but the which is a IR transparent substance. The germanium or silicon is coated onto the highly polished substrate by vapor deposition. We know that to prepare the different thin films, there are different techniques like RF magnetron sputtering, vapor deposition, chemical vapor deposition. These all are the different techniques, but in particular for the synthesis of the beam splitter with the help of germanium and silicon, the highly polished substrate is used, and this is done with the help of vapor deposition techniques, so that we get the proper beam splitter. So in this way we have the mirrors and the beam splitter. Now this is the schematic diagram of Michelson interferometer. Generally it consists of source, moving mirror, fixed mirror, and this is the beam splitter, and this is the detector. So here the source is a IR radiation source. It emits radiation in all direction, but this radiation is collimated with the help of this beam concentrated and then focused onto this beam splitter, and beam splitter divides this beam, that is it reflects the partially and transmitted partially the given beam, that is the source radiation, and this reflected beam goes towards the moving mirror, and from that moving mirror again this light gets reflected and come back to the beam splitter. Similarly here the source radiation partially transmitted, and after that they approaches towards the fixed mirror, and after that there is again reflection from this fixed mirror, and this beam is again goes towards the this beam splitter. But here is a fixed mirror, the position of the mirror is the same, but here the position of the mirror is different, so we get the path difference between these two beams, and here we get the interference of these two beams, or they meet each other at this point, and after that there is again reflection from the beam splitter, and we will detect that signal with the help of detectors. So in this way the Michelson interferometer work. The main components are the beam splitter, fixed mirror and moving mirror, and this is the detector for detection, and this is the IR radiation source which emits the IR radiation. So this is the retardation, that is a path difference for these two beams, and here is the beam concentrator are used to focus the beam for a given particular direction. So this is the Michelson interferometer. A common beam splitter material for the mid-infrared region is a germanium, and most common substrate for this region is a KBr. That means, as already we mentioned, the beam splitter is made up from the semiconductor material like a germanium or silicon, and which is constructed on a IR transparent substrate material, and this substrate material is generally used for this FTIR spectroscopy, which is a KBr, that is a potassium bromide, and the beam splitter material which is a very good for the mid infrared region is nothing but the germanium, and both the substrate and the coating must be optically flat. That means these two material, that is a germanium and the substrate material of the KBr is must be the optically flat. So this is the condition for the these two material. Now the third main part of the FTIR spectroscopy, that is the detectors in FTIR. Two most popular detectors for FTIR spectrometers are, that is first one is the pyroelectric detector, and generally again there are different types of the pyroelectric detector, but among them we are using here, that is a deuterated triglycine sulfate. In short we call it as a DTGS. This is the one of the type of the pyroelectric detector which acts as a detector in a FTIR spectrometer. Second type is the photosensitive semiconducting detector. That means the detector most commonly used in a FTIR is a photosensitive semiconducting detector. Again it has a different types, and one of them is a mercury cadmium telluride. In short we call it as a MCT. So these two main detectors are used in a FTIR spectroscopy generally in order to detect the signal from the sample, and we get the spectra. So in this way we have different detectors in FTIR spectroscopy. Now what is the working of the FTIR spectrometer or FTIR? So working of the FTIR spectrometer. Radiation from broadband IR source is collimated and directed into the interferometer and impinges on the or incident on the beam splitter. That means here is the we have in a diagram, here is the IR radiation source which is either Nernst Globar source or high pressure mercury arc lamp which emits the radiation, and these radiations are focused onto the beam splitter, and beam splitter divides this beam into two parts, that is this and this. This is the reflected beam and this is the transmitted beam. So here we get the at a beam splitter half of the IR beam is transmitted towards the fixed mirror and the remaining half is reflected to the moving mirror. After the divide, beams are reflected from the two mirrors and they are combined at the beam splitter. That means here is two beams, that is this beam and this beam. This is the reflected beam from the beam splitter and this is the transmitted beam from the beam splitter, and this reflected beam goes towards the moving mirror and this transmitted beam is move towards the fixed mirror. Again there is a reflection from these two mirrors, and these two beams again meet at the beam splitter. So but here is a position of the mirror is a fixed, and here is the position of the mirror is a moving. So because of that we get the path difference between these two beams, that means the beams which are reflected from the fixed mirror and moving mirror, and so here we get the interference pattern. So due to the changes in the relative position of the moving mirror, an interference pattern is generated. The resulting beam then passes through the sample and eventually focused onto the detector. That means this beam, after here we get the interference signal, and these interference signals are passing through this sample, and there are interaction between these two, this interference signal and the sample, and again we get the new type of the signal, and which is detected with the help of detector. And as already we mentioned, the detectors which are used in IR FTIR spectroscopy are nothing but the deuterated triglycine sulfate, that is a DTGS, and the second one is the mercury cadmium telluride, that is a MCT. So these are only different detectors are used to detect the signals from the sample. So in this way the FTIR spectrometer works, and we get the FTIR spectra. Now the FTIR spectrophotometer obtains an infrared spectra by collecting an interferogram of sample signal using an interferometer, and then performs a Fourier transform onto the interferogram to obtain the spectrum. That means in a spectrophotometer we get the infrared spectra, but this spectra is obtained with the help of by collecting an interferogram, and this interferogram is produced from the interferometer, and again on that there is a performance of the Fourier transformation, and we get the proper spectrum of the FTIR spectroscopy. Fourier transform defines the relation between signal in the time domain and its representation in a frequency domain. As already we mentioned in our previous lecture, the Fourier transform the time domain signal into the its equivalent representation in a frequency domain. So here we get the interferogram. This is the interferograms which is produced with the help of the interferometer, and again there is the Fourier transformation, and after undergoing the Fourier transformation, that is it is nothing but the mathematical technique, we get the sample spectrum, that means the spectrum of a given sample. So in this way we get the FTIR spectrum. The sampling rate is controlled by an internal independent reference, a modulated monochromatic beam from the helium neon laser focused on a separate detector. That means here we also use the reference, and the sampling rate is controlled with the help of internal and independent reference. So this reference is the internal and independent reference, and a modulated monochromatic beam from the helium neon laser is focused onto the separate detector. That means the detector which is used from the, that is a separate detector. This is a different detector from the detector we are using in a FTIR spectroscopy, and this is internally all those things happen. Now in short, here we can draw the tree diagram. Here is a source, that is IR radiation source. After that there is an interferometer, that is a Michelson interferometer, and the signal from the Michelson interferometer are given to the sample, and there is an interaction between these two signals, between the sample and the signals. So here we get the another new type of the signal, and these signals are again detected by the detector, and again detector detect all those signal and produces the interferogram. The interferogram is nothing but the encoded data of a sample at each frequency, and after that by decoding it with the help of Fourier transformation, that is with the help of mathematical technique, we get the IR spectra. Or indirectly we can also say that after the emission of the radiation from the source, it is given to the interferometer, and directly we get the interferogram, that means the encoded data of sample at each frequency which is emitted by the radiation which is emitted by the source, and again it is decoded with the help of Fourier transformation, and we get the IR spectra, but without the sample analysis. This process is without sample analysis, but if we want to analyze this sample, then we can pass this interferometer signal through the sample and we get the corresponding IR spectra for that particular sample. So in this way we get the FTIR spectra of a given sample. When the mirror is moved at a constant velocity, the intensity of radiation reaching the detector varies in a sinusoidal manner to produce the interferogram. We know that the output of the interferometer or the Michelson interferometer is nothing but the interferogram, but in the interferometer we move the one mirror, that is a moving mirror, and but which is moved with a constant velocity. Due to the motion of this mirror with a constant velocity, the intensity of radiation reaching the detector, that means the signal which are reaching the detector varies but in the sinusoidal manner. So we get the interferogram. The interferogram which has every frequency encoded into it, that means the interferogram consists of the information about the every frequency component of the radiation and is a record of the interference signal. That means it is a nothing but the record of the interference signal. It is a time domain spectrum and records the detector response changes versus time within a mirror scan. That means there are different mirrors are used, or we call it as a mirror scan, and in that we are able to convert the time domain spectrum into the corresponding its frequency domain, and the recorder records the detector records the signal and the response changes versus time. That means we are able to detect the signal with respect to time within the mirror scan. If the sample happens to absorb at this frequency, the amplitude of the sinusoidal wave is reduced by amount proportional to the amount of the sample. That means at that particular frequency the absorption takes place, then the amplitude of the sinusoidal wave is reduced, and this amount of the reduction is proportional to this amount of the sample. So in this way we get the proper spectra. The IR signal after interaction with the sample is uniquely characteristics of the sample. That means after interference the IR signal get interact with the sample, and there is an interaction between the sample and the interference signal, and after that we get a new type of signal, and this new type of signal consists of different characteristics of that sample. The beam finally arises at the detector and measured by the detector. That means finally there is a detection technique or detection part, so that the detector detects the all signal which comes from the sample, and the detected interferogram cannot be directly interpreted. It has to be decoded with the well-known mathematical technique in terms of Fourier transformation. That means the detector detects signal, but the detected signals are not able to interpreted directly, but if we want to interpret that signals, or in order to study the spectra of that given sample, we have to decode that signals, and this is done with the help of the mathematical technique, and which is the Fourier transformation technique. So with the help of Fourier transformation techniques we are able to get the information about each and every frequency component of the source, and this emitted radiation of each and every frequency are interact with the sample, and we get the all characteristics of that particular sample, nearly all characteristics. So in this way we get the proper spectra for all range of the frequency with the help of FTIR spectroscopy. So it is the modified form of the IR spectroscopy, or it is the advanced techniques for the IR spectroscopy. So in this way we have covered about all things about the FTIR spectrometer or the FTIR spectroscopy. So in this way we have completed the FTIR spectroscopy. Now in our upcoming video we will start with the another topic.